the 4th today. Second up. So move. So second.
Now we're down to section number 4, which is petitions and delegations. I'd just like to point out that each delegation shall be limited to a 15-minute presentation unless a longer period is agreed to by 2/3 majority vote of council members present. We have Sergeant Robert Hughes, the area detachment commander of the Princeton RCMP, to give us an update. Sergeant Hughes, the floor is yours.
Ron? So I don't have a formal presentation for council tonight. I was speaking with Mayor Coyne a few weeks ago, and he said that COVID restrictions had released or relaxed a little bit. Same thing on the federal side for us, so this is the first council meeting that I've come to. More of a Q&A to see kind of what council expects from the RCMP at council meetings, what do you want from us for attendance, if you want any attendance at all. We typically do we run our fiscal year, so fiscal year just ended March 31st. So that's the end of our quarter, and those stat reports, the crime stats and all that, will be presented at the mayor's conference in Penticton on May 4th, I believe, it's the Thursday. So I don't know if council wants me to come and make a more in-depth presentation. That's usually kind of limited to 5 or 10 minutes because we have 45 minutes for the whole PSOS region. So I can come and give those crime stats and speak to Princeton specific issues if council so wishes.
I know myself personally, I actually like the quarterly reports when you come in and talk to us about what specifically is going on in Princeton. I think that's quite effective.
Okay.
Yeah, any stats I think would be great, and just anything you guys feel that's going on, and
Yep.
where needs work or help with anything.
Yeah, so we're right now, we're at the end of our fiscal year. So the new fiscal year started April 1st, and we do our annual performance plan, which is our initiatives. So I talked to Mayor Coyne about those. We're going to keep those as they were last year. Employee wellness is number one. For me, and my philosophy behind that with the RCMP is I can't service the community if I can't service my members. And that's my employees, all the PSEs, front counter staff, victim service, everybody that works at the detachment. We refer to ourselves as the Princeton family when we're sending emails out amongst one another, and that's my goal, that's my initiative, and I hope to keep it that way. So everybody there is pretty happy. Morale is really good, and proven by a E-Division managerial review that was just completed, not a single internal or external client recommendation to be made. So I think Mayor Coyne was one of the interviewees for that. So fairly proud of that, and we want to keep that going. So the other initiatives, of course, is traffic safety. Every time our stats come out, they break it down into a couple of different categories, but the general idea, traffic is our number one complaints, whether it be
The traffic lights.
I'm not really sure if you want me to talk about that, but I will if you want. Erratic drivers, collisions, vehicles versus deer, elk, moose, bears, whenever that time of year comes around. Truck drivers doing silly things that we saw on YouTube, and YouTube is good for that. People, more dash cams and stuff. So we couple with BC Highway Patrol, who are vacant right now in Princeton. There's no positions filled of 3. So we actually have 7. Full strength RCMP is 7 for the detachment. We're actually at full strength for the first time since I've been here 3.5 years ago. So that's wonderful. it is. Finally, so a little more breathing room for our members, but our 3 BC Highway Patrol positions from Karamius that are stationed here in Princeton are vacant right now, so they're working on that. Somebody's coming from Saskatchewan. He's trying to sell a house, not having much luck, so.
And how come you haven't been full before? Is that just because of?
Just people coming, people going. Princeton's a 4-year limited duration post, so members come here for 4 years, and then they are afforded the opportunity to leave if they want to. And most people, they want to go. So it's just for opportunity. It's like there's no specialized sections here. Once you come onto your block working here, the boys and girls here, they're working from 8 o'clock in the morning for 5 days until 8 o'clock in the morning, 6 days later. They are pretty much working 24/7 through. So just because of the shortage of people. So that wears a little thin on you after a while. The bigger senders, your on shift is your on shift and your home time is your home time. And they don't get that until the days off. Very proud of our team here. They work really hard. Our traffic stats are up, the highest they've ever been in 3.5 years. Just going out and doing enforcement. Our crashes are down. Crime stats are dropping. So I've spoken to Mayor Coyne about that. That can't go on forever. So we're waiting for the upturn because they're considerably lower than they were 2 years ago. Some of that's because of COVID and CERB and the government handing out money to that demographic. They're not doing the property crime that feeds that circle.
Sure.
Property crime, drug use, the other things like mental health sometimes plays a part in that. But yeah, incredibly proud of our team right now. That's
excellent.
That's about where I'm at. So any questions that anybody has, anything you'd like to see other than stat reporting? There's always a bunch of questions. Why something is up or why something's down, or what's significant about this quarter, and usually I have those answers right there on the spot. I try and prepare as well as I can with I know what the numbers are and I know what's coming. So
yeah, without a chart in front of me and a comparative numbers, yeah, I've got no questions.
Yeah, today is a little bit bad timing tonight for a presentation like that, and that's why I didn't bring one, because we're just right at the end of our quarter. So I would be reporting today on stuff that happened, 3 to 6 months ago. So
Right.
I can come back right after we do that mayor's conference. I'm not sure how often council meets. Is it
Well, every second Monday.
every second Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can, whenever that mayor's council is, I'll just
Yeah, I think that would be great.
get in touch with your office and
Yeah.
set it up.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I think that'd be great, and then just follow it up quarterly with each of those reports.
Okay.
That'd be great.
And I think Councilor Payne had a question.
Yeah, a couple of questions. First one, I'm not up to date on that. I had heard things about a new detachment building.
Yes.
Where is that?
So what we were doing with the new detachment. I'll try and be quick. I got 7 minutes left.
No, go ahead. It's okay.
We'll vote that in. We're good.
So the original plan for the new detachment was to demolish what we had. Sorry, I'll back up even further than that. The original plan was to build around what we had and stay occupying the building that we had and have the new building designed around it so that we could move into the new building, not have to vacate space. That didn't work. Just where that property lays, the kind of weird shape of it and against the escarpment caused a whole bunch of problems. We couldn't get the adjacencies inside the building, couldn't get flow around the building, couldn't get the approach proper. We rejected, and when I say we, it's myself and the lead from E-Division Design. 14 designs we quashed, and we ended up, Leah Barai is her name, so we ended up, the two of us, taking one of the drawings from the architect and cutting the little pieces out and taping them to a piece of paper, giving it back to the architect. So that took about 6 months longer than it should have to come up with the design, but the floor plan that we have is impeccable. Unbelievable building, super happy with it. So the progression of that is we needed swing space. So we need to be somewhere else for up to 2 years. So we started looking at the properties up top by the plant, and that was the plan. We were going to move up there for 2 years, demolish and rebuild here. But it seems to be significantly more financially responsible to purchase the land up there and build up there. So speaking with Mayor Coyne, the plan for the city and first responder services, fire, the ambulance station, search and rescue, and police, the plan is to have the others all up top. So it made sense for us to go and be up there as well. So we're trying to work out purchasing. Is my understanding that purchase of the land has been approved through all levels at E Division for BC, and we're just waiting for Ottawa's final check mark.
Perfect.
Great.
Before you're out of time, have you driven through the stop sign business and Bridge and Tapton and Highway 5?
The lights?
Yeah.
I have, actually.
Are you happy with that?
I'm not, actually. I'm not happy with that.
Do you have any input into that, or?
So I've talked to Modi a few times about it. I think they're on their 4th or 5th version of light timing. They were out there again on Friday. We were getting, so our complaint level has gone skyrocketed from that intersection. We'd get 1 or 2 complaints a month maybe for somebody, pedestrian. And it was usually pedestrians running out of Valley First and running out of the hedges and scrambling across the Petrocan. Probably once a year, somebody would get whacked.
Yeah.
Now the complaints of people running the lights and the lights not changing. One of our employees at the office came in, said she sat there for 6 minutes one morning. Another employee said they witnessed somebody else in front of them jump out after 3 or 4 minutes and go and hit the pedestrian light to get going. It's been a lot better. So Kylie Goodell is the Modi manager. She was out. I saw her there most of the day Friday. I came into town to do some grocery shopping on my day off, and she was there. And the lights seem a lot better today. I don't know if anybody else has seen that. We're getting people running lights. I was there doing traffic enforcement the other day for about half an hour is what I had last week, and nabbed 2 people running the light or in the unmarked truck. So, and the consensus is people are just frustrated. They're like, if I didn't run it, there was nobody coming the other way. If I didn't go, then I'd be sitting there for, they say 10 minutes, and it's not.
My thought is, up until summer, like come into June, July, August, September, whatever, fine. But during the winter, I'm not sure why a 4-way stop wouldn't work. It was that way to begin with, right? They were all
It was.
yellows or whatever it was.
So again, I don't want to speak out of place. That's not my idea of how that should have been. I don't agree with the lights set up like that. That's not what I had proposed when people asked, and then I wasn't asked again. So I would have liked to see my simple solution. We came up the first time, I think it was the fires, right? They closed everything down. Ed came out, Mayor Coyne was out there, BC Highway Patrol was out there, and that's when we came up with shutting down Bird Street and back at the Cenotaph, and then right at Tapton. And that just allows that to flow. My solution was to put, like avalanche, when they close the roads for avalanches, close off Bridge Street and let that flow.
Yeah.
Have a lighted stop sign. But I'm not a traffic expert. Modi is, and that's what Modi decided was the best course of action. And it may prove to be down the road when they get the timing of the lights right. Every time I've talked to Modi about the timing of the lights, it comes down to the distance between the 2 lights causes a lot of problems. There's only enough room there. They say 3 semi-trucks, and I don't think there's room for 3. I think it's 2. So.
Thank you.
It's growing pains.
Yep.
Yep.
No doubt.
I went through Sunday and I found it was actually a lot quicker than it had been.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I didn't realize they were still working on the timing, but Sunday it was much quicker.
Yeah. So I came down, maybe it was Thursday. It was Friday that Modi was there. And then I went down to the Lower Mainland on Saturday, and the lights were really quick. And then today, I probably went through them a dozen times today, and they were all kind of more reasonable. It wasn't that sitting there twiddling your thumbs. So we'll be making a recommendation. They're not done with it, so it needs to have lines painted so people know where to stop and know where to sit. So that's, there's only 2 sensors at each point.
Yeah.
So the lines are a little bit weird, and people don't know where to stop, and you drive through and you see people that are sitting there waiting at the lights, and they're nowhere near the sensors.
Yeah, I keep inching up to try to hit one of the sensors, and once there's lines there, that'll make it a lot easier.
Yeah, so I'm impressed with what they've done with the timing. It was horrible, and now it seems to be a lot better. So we'll wait and see.
Sure. Any other questions of Sergeant Hughes?
No, I appreciate you coming, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
That's it? Quick and
Yeah,
easy.
that's it.
Okay, well,
You're done.
We will see you, May 4th is, I think May 4th is the Thursday for the presentation in Penticton. So I'll be back the next Monday after that, and we can go through the
Sure,
stats individually and specific to Princeton, so.
that'd be great.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
that.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You as well.
Alrighty, let's move on. Item number 6, staff reports. Number 6.1, a deposit for a new washroom building at the Municipal Campground, and I think we can ask Gary to speak on that.
Yep, thank
Please.
you. That's just initial to get the ball rolling for the washroom facility that was in the budget to move forward. That deposit is coming out of grant funding.
Yep.
There's no cost to the municipality in that. And that'll, that gets the design work done and some preliminary layout. And I've recommended we use Sitka to stay consistent. That's why it was single sourced.
Yeah, I like the design. It ties all together with all the other work that they've done around here for sure. Looks great. All right, Councillor McLean has moved the recommendation that council authorizes the deposit of $157,500 for the design and construction of a new washroom facility at the Princeton Municipal Campground, seconded by Councillor Willis. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Item number 6.2 is repairs to the municipal campground camping sites. Gary, would you like to speak to that?
Sure. Again, with the flood, we had a lot of damage done. Now that the snow's melted, we got to give it a real first-hand look at what happened down there, and it was pretty significant. We had the town crew in there for a day, but they're so busy with everything else that Jim advised me we had contracted out originally. But the problem was those contractors locally were all tied up as well. So we have somebody that's staying down there that's doing work in town on some projects. And that's the McDonald Builders, and they've started work, some initial work down there, and they've given us an estimate on moving forward to repair the sites and do the necessary work to get that back up in good working order.
Do you have any idea how many sites were lost?
You know what, they were all damaged.
Oh, okay.
Everything across the board except the hosts, and maybe one on either side of them, but everyone had some form of flooding. Like if you went through, you could see it went almost all the way to the road.
Wow.
If you go in and look at the post and rail we have there, it's like covered in mud. Pete was out there power washing last week, and it's significant, like noticeable difference. All the flower beds were covered. There was sand in some areas. We probably had a foot plus of silt that had to be dug out of there. So they're all in some state of repair. We've got picnic tables in the trees still that we've got to fish a couple out, and fire pits.
But no land was lost, right? No lots themselves, like.
No, nothing significant. There's a little bit of erosion along the riverside there, but not anything. We
Nothing
actually have
significant?
some potential beach areas that have come up out of that.
Lots of sand everywhere.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
it could be okay.
Nice. All right, so we have a recommendation to award a contract of work to repair and clean the Princeton Municipal Campground to McDonald Builders Limited for the estimated cost of $42,000 plus GST for repair of damages caused by the November 15, 2021 flooding event.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, made by Councillor Willis, seconded by Councillor McLean. All in favor? Opposed, if any?
I suppose will we get some of the money back in rent,
It's actually all through insurance.
campground rental?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, it'll be nice when it's done. We're shooting for May 1st to have.
All right, that motion did carry. Down to item 6.3, asphalt repairs due to flooding at the municipal campground. Gary, would you like to speak to that too, please?
Yeah, thank you. Same thing, the entire laneway there was damaged from the flooding event. It's all chipped and cracked. So Jim Daly arranged for Peter Brothers to come in, and they measured it out. They're going to reuse some of the spots are still good, but a lot of it needs to resurface and be put through. Just get it back in order.
Yeah, okay, all right. Any questions? You would like to move that
A motion.
motion? All right, so Councillor McLean would like to move the motion. The council award the contract of work for asphalt repairs to Peter Brothers Paving for the total of $88,642 even plus GST for repair of damages caused by the November 15, 2021 flooding event, seconded by Councillor Willis. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 6.4, the waiving of patio fees, the Town of Princeton. I'm thinking the CAO would like to speak to that?
This is actually Gary's initiative.
Oh, it's Gary's initiative?
It's the council initiative that Gary was.
Gary's show.
All right, I'm trying to get the CAO on here, but okay. All right, Gary, would you like to speak to that for us, please?
Sure thing. Different areas of the province, they sent out a letter, as you can see, that they were recommending that patio fees be waived.
Yep.
It's kind of a thing nationally, you're seeing it going on. I saw Alberta was doing it, Ontario's doing something similar. My recommendation was, as opposed to going through this every year, we should be encouraging patios. And why don't we put a 5-year moratorium on the patio fee and see if we can't help the businesses out with that. Maybe we'll see some more of them pop up.
And what would the average patio fee be if somebody wanted one?
Do you know off? $150.
Yeah, okay, but still, that's a saving to a business and says, you know, supporting local business.
Yeah, I think it's a good initiative, and if it encourages, you know, more patios, I think it's a
Sure.
great thing for the summer.
Perfect, all right, we have a motion, the council authorize the waiving of fees for patios for a 5-year period commencing April 2022, and that is made by Councillor McLean, seconded by Councillor Willis. All in favor? Thank you very much, that is carried. On to item 6.5, public hearing report on the zoning amendment bylaw number 1022-2022. Is the CAO going to speak on that?
I can speak to that.
That would be awesome.
So as you remember, we had a public hearing on March 21st, 2022. The purpose was to discuss an amendment to a bylaw amendment to allow secondary suites and carriage houses in residential areas. There was no members of the public to speak to it. So we went through the motions, and I can declare that there was no negative comments received, and council seemed to be in favor of it, so.
All right, so we have a recommendation that council receive for information only, the public hearing report, zoning amendment bylaw number 1022-2022. And that's made by Councillor Willis, seconded by Councillor McLean. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Let's move on to section 7, council reports, and I'm going to hand it over to Councillor McLean, please.
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor and Deputy Mayor.
Okay then, Councillor Willis.
I attended a Chamber of Commerce meeting last week, and yeah, they have some few good ideas and good to meet. That's my report.
I'm under the impression the Chamber of Commerce has a new home, is that correct?
Yes, right across here.
Right across here. So
I
for anyone who
know.
doesn't know where right across here
Yeah,
is,
I know. No, I didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, right around the corner from the back of the chiropractor.
so the side door in the new chiropractor's renovated place.
Yes.
Okay. So they have they have a big space down there, or meeting space, I mean,
Yeah, it's a decent sized space in there.
yeah, okay.
People are welcome to stop by, I think.
Perfect, alrighty. Then that leaves it to me, and I've only got a couple of meetings to report. Wednesday, March the 30th, I had a meeting with the alert directors, and we will probably see a presentation from them here at a future council meeting. And I attended the Skills Center budget meeting on behalf of Mayor Coyne, and that's all I have to report. Let's move on now to section 8, correspondence, receive and file. There is none. And section number 9, correspondence action requested. Item 9.1, the anniversary of the opioid epidemic becoming a public health emergency in 2016. And who would like to speak to this?
I didn't actually receive this, but it's a common practice that groups would request the use of the town square, and in particular the gazebo. This is a group that would like to set up and have a day in the park, and it meets all our requirements, and it's a good public information session, so we're recommending that it is approved.
All right, so the recommendation is that council approve the request from One Sky Harm Reduction Peer Workers for the use of the gazebo in Veteran Square on April 14, 2022. Permit the decorating of the gazebo in purple with purple fake flowers, streamers, decorations, and a banner. The One Sky Harm Reduction Peer Workers provide the installation, decorations, and removal of the decorations, and that the decorations be removed at the end of the day on April 14, 2022, due to other activities scheduled for Easter weekend. Who would like to make that motion? Made by Councillor McLean, seconded by Councillor Willis. All in favor? Thank you very much. Let's move on to section 10, bylaws and resolutions. Item 10.1, the 2021 financial plan bylaw amendment, and I assume the Director of Finance would like to speak to that?
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. So staff is requesting that council approve the bylaw amendment 3 from 2021 to 2025 for adoption tonight. The reason, again, for the amendment to last year's financial plan is to correct the financial plan for variances within the budget from last year, and to allocate funding resources for the operating costs for November and December due to the 2021 flooding event.
All right, recommendation is that council adopt the Town of Princeton 5-year financial plan bylaw amendment 3, 2021 to 2025, number 1023, 2022.
Make that motion, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
George is good too.
Mr. George.
Made by Councillor Willis, seconded by Councillor McLean. All in favor? And it is carried. Thank you. On to item 10.2, the 2022-2026 financial plan bylaw, and Director of Finance James Graham. Would you like to speak to that, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. So again, the 2022 to 2026 financial plan bylaw is up for adoption. It has gone to 3 readings. We've had a period of public consultation, in which time we had 2 notices printed in the newspaper. We had a YouTube video go on our town YouTube page for that detailed the changes to the 2021 plan and the 2022 plan. We received 1 submission that was submitted to council during the 3rd reading, and we are asking for adoption.
All right, and I know we tease you about the YouTube videos, but how many views did you get?
I can look that up. Stand by.
I'm just thinking it gives us an indicator of how much interest there is, right?
Yeah, one moment. I can look that up very, very quickly here.
Thought you would have known this.
I know. You think I would?
Yeah, stats guy, you would think you'd have this all down, yeah.
I had 72 views
Okay, all
this
right.
year. So typically on an average year, if we have an in-person meeting, we'll have between 1 to 4 or 5 people who end up coming to an in-person meeting. So we found the YouTube platform has been great for engaging the public.
Sure.
In a matter of 20 to 30 times that what we were getting there, and they can skip forward or backwards to what information a citizen needed, and the questions can stream a lot better from a video than they can from an in-person meeting. So
Perfect. Thank
yeah,
you very
and
much.
in the age of COVID, obviously, as well.
All right, so we have a recommendation that council adopt the Town of Princeton financial plan. Yes, Councillor McLean.
How long before, or how many more steps is necessary for this, or does it kind of go into action after we pass?
Where staff is asking council for adoption, so the new financial plan will be in place if you adopt it today.
Okay.
Any questions, Councillor Willis?
No, I'm good.
All right, got all you need there, Councillor McLean?
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Recommendation is that council adopt the Town of Princeton financial plan bylaw number 10/20/2022.
So moved.
Councillor McLean moved it and seconded by Councillor Willis. All in favor? Thank you. On to item 10.3, the official community plan OCP amendment bylaw number 10/21/2022, zoning amendment bylaw number 10/22/2022, carriage houses and secondary suites. CAO Thomas, would you like to speak to that?
Carrie, do you want
Please.
to speak to this?
Oh, okay. We're getting everybody on the mic tonight.
So this is the last step of the zoning and OCP amendment to allow secondary suites and carriage houses in our residential zone. So council has given 3 readings. We've done our legislative requirements for advertising for the public hearing. We had no complaints, we had nobody attend the public hearing, and this is just the last step, and we're asking council to adopt both the zoning and OCP amendment.
All right, any questions? All right, recommendation is a bylaw number 1021, 2022, a bylaw to remove and replace official community plan bylaw section 5.2.9, secondary suites be adopted, and is this two different motions? No, okay, and that bylaw number 1022, 2022, a zoning amendment bylaw to amend the regulations of carriage houses, or carriage house and secondary suites be adopted.
I'll make that motion.
Made by Councillor Willis, seconded by Councillor McLean, all in favor? It is carried, thank you. Section number 11, new business, there is none. And that brings us to section 12, agenda conclusion, and 12.1, a motion to close, that the meeting be closed to the public for the purposes of considering the following: 90.1E, section E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements, if the council considers that the disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality.
So moved.
So moved by Councillor McLean, seconded by Councillor Willis, all in favor. And that brings this meeting to a close. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you, Sharon and Aaron, for being there. Appreciate you coming, and that's it. Thank you very much.